Thank you both for being here. I need to hide the rounds right now, wherever that is turns. There we go. There it is. Cool. All right, I'm gonna leave you two to explain what the hell is going on. What is going on?
Sure. We are trying to capture each other's baby. So the objective is to ionize the baby carrier and then put a ship at range and a turn at range 0 of the baby carrier.
Okay.
If you
Whoever
kill
does that wins. If you accidentally kill a baby, you lose.
I mean, how are you gonna see the baby if it's dead? I mean, maybe you could see the dead baby, but I'm not gonna go any further.
Enough with your dead baby humor.
Oh God! Just clip that. Just clip that. Enough of your dead baby humor. Oh man, that is something else. All right, so just to, any other rules?
Yeah, in case nothing else happens, ships are with half points or playing time. That's it.
Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome. Well, I'll leave you to get setting up. I look forward to it, and may the Grogu force be with you both. All right. I'll talk to you after. This will be fun. Andrew, you're welcome to do commentary with us since you're hanging out if you want.
Oh yeah, I mostly just wanted to say hi to Joe and Catherine and Matt, and then
Cool.
but now I'm
And
here,
then, yeah.
so
Okay.
I'm
Cool.
here.
Well, we're gonna go up to 312. I don't know if you have access still. I'll double check. All right. Let's see. Permissions. Make sure that Buddha can get in. Yes. You can. Matt, come on up. I gotta move everybody back up to. There we go. Move Buddha up to. Why can't I move him up? Oh, it's because.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Oh, okay. You're both here. Cool. I, for some reason, still thought you guys were in. Oh God, what are they doing?
What are they doing?
What are you doing? Why? It looks terrible. Don't do that. Oh, they're hiding the timer.
Okay.
Oh God. Guys, you can. Oh, hold on. Hold on.
You could just delete the timer.
You can move it.
Or
Guys, you can move the timer. You can delete it. You don't have to do that because that looks terrible. That looks so bad. But it's too late now.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. Wow. All right. That is a lot of effort to hide the timer.
All right, I'm rolling this road. What's up with them?
All right.
It's
Well,
unlike anything else I've flown before, because the little decisions mean so much. Like most of the time, I think about my dial decisions in terms of like game state and not numbers. But with that list, because the difference between Vader losing 1 shield and 2 shields is pretty significant, you have to really kind of almost, at least I math it out, because that's like, I don't know, that's my personal background. And so it's a lot more interesting than I thought it would be to fly Vader, because there's only so many dial decisions, but those decisions are much more impactful.
yeah.
I did miss about half the conversation you guys were having because I had to tell them that they could have hid the timer or deleted it. So they laughed. We had to laugh about that, but I'm back. So I caught most of what you're saying about Vader, but not all of it. Just a heads up. All right. Well, who wants to break down what list here? Remember, Ion is the name of the game and winning this game, so that's why we're seeing so much from Catherine and a little bit from Joe.
I want to break down the Imperial list. So
All right, Rebels first. Andrew, take it away. What is Catherine flying? Exclamation point! Bet. You gotta bet on one here. Bet one all.
Well,
Never bet
let's
against
start with the Cats in the Cradle, which is Zeb Orleos with the child, who I guess has 2 force points. I guess they get the force points. And he is our baby carrier, so he'll be running around trying to not be ionized. He's got a targeting computer for reasons that won't probably matter, but an evade and 2 force. What's interesting is that those force aren't coming back with that baby. Then we have what I like to call the Catherine Special, which is 4 Y-Wings with an infinite number of ionization possibilities. All of them rocking some R4s for some easier 2 hards, some ion torpedoes, ion turrets. We got some belly rubs in there. We got some hopeful in there. We got some counter nets in there. And a double modded ion torp is a very high percent chance to ionize many things.
Yeah.
Even ships with two
This might be a
dice
quick
and
game.
focus. So I think this could be a quick game.
Especially with Fair Off.
Yeah.
Dice is so much better than the 3 dice as terms of chance to ionize. So this may be a quick game, but also Fair Off can. I mean, I guess both of them stay in the back. I don't know. I think Fair has to probably 5 straight boost, and Catherine can't get to Fair Off. Like, it'll take her 2 turns, and Vader will be on top of Zeb by then. So I think that's the only hope.
And speaking of the Imperialists, go ahead, Matt.
All right, we have Darth Vader in the X1 with Shattering Shot, Targeting Synchronizer. Interesting. Ion Missiles, Munitions Failsafe, and Afterburners. We have Ved Foslo with Ion Limiter Override, Ion Missiles, and Precision Engine Ion
Which
Engines,
he can't use.
which he cannot use. Captain Jonas with Ion Missiles, Skill Bombardier, and Ion Bombs, and then Captain Faroff with Elusive and the Child. I love Ved Foslo. Sad that he's not in Standard, so we get to see him in these extended lists. That's cool, but yeah, I'm kind of with Andrew on, like, Faroff has 1 agility die.
It's medium base, right? So
Yeah, the thing he's got going for him is he is very quick, much faster than a Y-wing. So the 1 straight boost followed by a 3 bank will get him across the board, away from Y-wings fairly quick. And honestly, how I would have set up Catherine would be to just put Zeb behind the wall of Y-wings, but that way, like you were saying, Vader can't just run up on you.
also remember, guys, killing the child carrier, you lose the game if you do that. So it's not an option. Vader can't just wallop Zeb and kill the child. Even though Vader probably in canon, if Vader was in charge of getting the child, probably would have found a way to have it get killed. He's so mean, but.
And Vader has targeting synchronizer, which will allow Ved and Jonas to shoot at Zeb with ion missiles, even if they don't have
Didn't
lots.
realize you could take that. It's tag, isn't it? Yeah. All right, I have updated the overlay to have the targets be. I'll actually move Fair off to the top. The target is the WinCon for this game. So if you guys are just jumping in, saying what the hell is going on, well, we'd like to see the baby. So we're playing a fun new scenario where both sides have to try to ionize the child carrier and then end up at range 0 of said ionized ship to win the game. Killing the child carrier will lose you the game, as I mentioned earlier, and the default tiebreaker is going to be half points or total points scored. So
Yeah, it's a modified, like, protect the VIP.
yeah.
But
Tell me, Matt, what is the point of a VIP if there are no P's to see you being a VI?
I think you've lost me.
I don't know if anybody gets that reference. It's from this or not Star Wars videos. It's like, tell me what, and what's sort of like in the video, the Chancellor is like, in Revenge of the Sith, he's under arrest, what is it, chained to the freaking chair or whatever, like locked to the chair, and there's no one there, and Obi-Wan and Anakin get up there, and in the context of the video, it's a club, like a nightclub, but there's no one there, and he's like, tell me, he's like, what is the point of being a VIP if there are no P's to see you being VI?
Ah, gotcha.
Get it? VI, very important. P means person?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
All right, anyways, continue.
I worry about Zeb sitting off by himself when Vader hasn't even been placed.
It's
yeah.
fine. Everything is fine here. Joe mentioned that he's drinking some adult beverages. I don't know if Catherine is. But with that placement, he can't put it past her, right? Am I right?
That's a good spot for Vader. You don't want to be tempted into thinking that Zeb's going to, stay over there, because Zeb can easily 5 straight. But now with where Vader is at, we'll have to consider doing the 1 hard or the 5 straight.
ahead.
I know this is their own custom scenario. I wonder if they should have placed every ship except for the VIP carrier, and then after all the other ships are done, place VIP carriers. That would have been
That
interesting.
would seem a little bit more maybe fair as well. Actually, on mentioning that this should have been a killer, I honestly just left the game rules up to them. So
Yeah, this was their choice.
this was all their choice. First player is Joe to start the game, or at least for the first round.
Placing
Actually,
of the
maybe
child tokens. Looks like, or what is it? Merciless Pursuit, I
Mhm.
think is what it's called.
Yes.
I don't think you should put it on Vader because Vader's gonna have target lock focus most of the time.
Yeah.
So I would give it to Ved and what's the other
Not
one?
Reimer, but
Jonas.
Jonas.
Yeah, so we had an error. Like, first of all, it's not showing the bomber like icon in the overlay, but also
Yeah, I don't know
Captain
what the
Jonas-
deal is, man. Weird.
Captain Jonas just won't spawn, so we had to spawn Major Reimer instead.
So the one time I decided to use a mod from a few days ago, there's a chance because they did update it again that could have been fixed. But this is definitely still not an issue that we were having before, like a month ago. So I'm not sure. I didn't have the patience or the time to completely remake the room today, and I was like, oh, this is from last week. I'm sure it's not going to matter. Whatever they updated, it's not going to affect us. And of course, maybe it did. Just knowing my luck. Oh yeah, betting, it should be open. It is. Let's get the bets in, folks. Who's going to be top the points here by the end of July? I also, if anybody's interested, we do have a league entry I wanted to give away if anyone wanted to join our league and just have a free entry to it. It just basically means that you get a couple of cards and a sticker for free, which is cool, and you play as much as you want.
How much is the league entry?
It is
normally?
$7 no matter where you live, so that covers the card printing and shipping costs for the whole event, basically.
And that cost obviously is 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus
That
another
was
one.
intentional. Yeah, there you go. Plus another one.
Yeah.
3 plus 1 plus 2 plus another one.
That's that's you dialing in the international area code before.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
so
Yeah, I do have to do that.
1314.
Just signed up for the league. Oh, sweet. That's Josh. But yeah, so we'll try to. I'll see if anybody wants to. Whoever is interested in winning that or having one, we'll do that after this game. And we're 5 away from the other cards as well. So that's the update on the sub front for a while. I'm joined by Matt Carey from the Midwest Scrub cast and their blog. What is it? Confessions of Midwest Scrub. It's a
That's
little
correct.
different than the name. And then I have Velvet Buddha who played in the first game, Andrew Block, the Mr. Maul in the Gauntlet himself. Although I don't know if you still play Maul in the Gauntlet, but I feel like that's kind of when I would think of Maul in the Gauntlet, I just thought of you. So
No, he got the double nerf stick and he didn't
Yeah.
deserve it, and that made me sad.
He
I
got
actually
it
like
really
the
hard.
triple nerf stick because of the Jabba thing, which I mean, again, two of the 3 are well deserved, but they didn't need all 3.
Yeah, he didn't need to go up as much as he did. Being at 9 points would have been fine.
Honestly, I think just 8 in the loadout is fine, but that's me. I don't really believe in the expensive gauntlet. I don't know. The time on target's not that good. Maybe I'm
Yeah,
bad at it.
We were talking about it during your match, and I was just like, I don't know. He just went up too much for me to be interested.
we want to see his game room.
I think almost all 7.1s are pretty excellent across a bunch of different factions.
Yeah.
But anything else is just a little too rich in my blood.
I just feel like I can find better 7 points, like with Morna or with it's just maybe Ezra. That was kind of what Nick and I were talking about. But 7 points you could get Luke or Wedge. So if you don't already have one of those,
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sold that Wedge is amazing. Like, he just dies.
Thank you. Yes, he does. That's why it's always Luke all day. If I had to choose between the two, Luke all day
Well, I think Luke all day, but like Wedge
and Luke.
is so yeah, like when you can get both, but also Wedge when you can just pro torp and roll one extra.
But he
I
kind of
would make
needs
him-
the caddy for the double mod, right? That's why you
Yeah,
see Fen
but-
Rao a lot.
But just him being able to knock off what are they called? Salvages. Like when I'm playing against Wedge Luke, I don't take salvage actions. I just take
Yeah.
regular actions because you're gonna lose your salvage.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost worth ignoring the salvage, like at least 50% of the game at this, these days. Vader
But-
does the zoomies. as I thought. He's gonna. Vader can't. Does Vader have ion tech? He does. Yeah, he
He's
does.
got an ion missile.
It's gonna be hard to hit Zeb though. At least the first shot or two.
Yeah.
Ion missiles is 3 charges, but yeah, getting Zeb ionized will be tough. You'd have to get multiple shots on him. But it looks like we're looking just at a straight up joust with the other two, which I'm not really into.
Yeah, I know.
I'm really interested in seeing that from Joe's side of things, but
I mean, especially with Y-Wings, they're like, yeah, I was going to do a 1 forward and focus anyway.
Joe did a tactical bump with Faroff and already took a damage, which was I don't know if that's a big deal, but it was interesting.
I don't know if it was tactical, but
it did it well. It did a self bump. You thought he was gonna clear?
I think he thought he was going to clear. He tried a 3 bank, which was close. But now he can just boot, scoot, and boogie out of there.
Oh yeah, boot, scoot, and boogie. That is what the cool kids say. Hey baby, would you like to boot, scoot, and boogie at the club?
Boot, scoot, and or boogie.
And or boogie, yes. You have to give them choice.
Yeah, I mean,
it's only fair.
Don't put people in a don't put baby in a corner.
Don't put the child in a corner because I would like to see the baby.
Just to make another dated reference.
It's just.
Oh.
If you guys want to see something fun in between here, I'll show you in between rounds. We can. Let's do. To add a window capture.
It's a. Telling us to stop saying boot, scoot, and or boogie. I think that's the first time I ever called him Vincent. That was weird for me.
Good old Vincent.
Good old Vincent Morgado.
All right, let's show you guys the Sea Otters remix. Once we're in the planning phase for the next round. Here we go with Faroff. Don't use his government name. Never forget that. Never forget that bet, Vince. Never forget. Vince is my dice kryptonite. When I play Vince, only one game has actually been like variance has been adequate, like fair.
Evan Verlaine going forward.
What is Evan Verlaine's ability?
Spend a focus at the start of engagement, and a ship at range 1 can roll an extra die while they defend, which is kind of okay, but she was always too expensive before.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
In front of the
all right, I love it, Joe. Joe is so drunk. He does not care.
You can barrel roll target lock to get shots.
to get shot at by everybody.
You're gonna get ionized, so you might as well.
Maybe that's a part of the plan. Slowly get ionized into range of Zeb to ionize Zeb to win the game. I hope the game ends with an ionized ship bumping into the child carrier who's ionized. That would be perfect.
I hope the game ends just because of a what's it called, disabled power regulator, not because any ion tech actually happened.
Do we know what happens if the baby carrier flies off the board?
I would assume that person loses.
I would hope so. I would hope.
That sounds like a victory to me, though.
Yeah. I would not like to see the child anymore. Get out of here.
It's like
jettison the child.
Fly off the board on the exact spot that your opponent's baby started the board on, you win the game.
That seems fair. We can update the rule. Let's change the rules on them in like 2 or 3 rounds.
Ved doing a 1 bank that was a 2 bank, but gets to choose.
I remember we used to do the list chaos, move the obstacles. Both Sammy and Joel got really tilted at me because they'd be like, "That completely ruined what I wanted to do," and I'm like, "That's the points."
I remember doing that one.
Yeah, it's so fun. Honestly, I think it's so much fun. Especially for the streamers. Maybe not as much for the players, but you get to plan around it. You know, I'm not going to put it right in front of your ship, like right in front of your ship.
Yeah. So, okay, so here's what I want to happen, is I went both child carriers to give each other the disabled power regulator, to where they're both ionized and range 1 of each other, so they both capture their child at the same time. Make it happen. Nick, make it happen.
Yes, I'll do it all. So I was reading a message from Francois Moret. I'm doing a tournament with him, actually, in October.
Yeah, I saw that he was going to try his hand at doing TO.
Yeah. He'll be the true tabletop TO. Vader with Shattering Shot versus Y-Wings is honestly just bullying. Yep. Time to bully. Yeah. I'm just kind of prepping this.
The Otters?
Sea Otters remix. Have you not seen
No.
what Ewan McGregor saying? We're looking at sea otters. 5 of them over there. They're beautiful. Yeah, but it's a remix.
I've not.
Yeah, it's the most wholesome
I've
thing
not seen
ever.
the original nor the remix.
Yeah, it's. I've seen the remix, but not the original. I've seen both. It's amazing. It's very wholesome. So yeah, this is all in on Zebby.
Is Vader going to take his
What is he trying to do? Is he thinking he could do afterburners?
burners? Yeah.
Well, you can't burn her to the right. You would hit the rock, right?
Yeah, gas cloud. So okay, pride colors are cool and all, but like
Well,
seriously,
Flying
it's
the
hard to
Mighty-
tell, trying to
not-
hard to tell.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Fly the Mighty not aware that if Zeb dies, Joe will actually lose the game because we're playing a special scenario. You have to ionize the child carrier and then finish at range 0 of the ship after it's moved to win.
What I was gonna say was pride colors. It's cool and all, but like, man, like these, I can kind of, I can, largely tell what the objectives are. But when you get into the new Mandalorian stuff, and I'm not as familiar with the shapes, I'm like, is that debris or is that a rock? I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I think it's time probably. Maybe the update got rid of them. I'm not sure, or just you can cycle out
That's
of them.
fair.
You
that's
can
true.
cycle out of them.
That's
But
true.
yeah, it's not
I
Pride
just
Month.
I blame Nick's board for making me not see obstacles, not anything else,
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Now the choice.
I think I blame the fact that you're impaired, Andrew. You see how
Last
quiet he
time-
is?
the last time Matt and I played here, Matt flew straight on top of a rock.
Yeah, because I totally did not see it. I was like, I did the 4 or 5K, whatever it was, and I was just like,
Legendary.
there's a rock there. I think it was Gavin.
Yeah.
Gavin
So
that
my
followed?
advice to people
No,
that
it
do
was
that is to
Santiago.
check to see where the obstacles are on the board when you're playing your dials. Usually you can, if you do that, then you can avoid hitting them.
Knowing where the obstacles are, you think would be a good strategy. I apparently
You disagree.
was not adopting that strategy for some reason.
I disagree with that strategy. I think you should not look at where. I mean, I've also done it where I've forgot that they're really tiny rocks. Like I said, I overlooked before and just ran right in the middle of them. They're so small.
Do you think Vader's going to try and use his ion missiles this time?
I think
So-
you have to, and you got munitions failsafe. Like, go for it and see
Oh,
if you.
fair
see if
enough.
you can.
I forgot about the munitions failsafe. Yeah, so yeah, just pop it. And it's
Oh my
like,
God.
that was a bad roll. I mean, it's Vader though, so
I mean, because if he does that, he could 3 hard afterburners to guarantee this range 0.
yeah, and then
Should I paint my real objectives or obstacles rainbow?
So why-
is that legal?
Why are we getting the Y-wing firing an ion torp for?
I mean, because they have their whatchamacallits, what are they called? Ion cannon turrets. So they always,
But
Whereas-
did Vader shoot already? And I just completely missed it.
he may have just not shot
What? Come on, guys.
because it's like, I'm not going to waste a missile, and I'm not going to try and kill him.
Did he check his arc earlier? I might have. Did I
Yeah, he
miss?
checked.
Okay.
He checked. I think he just declined.
I'm just not used to that. I'm just not used to opting out of an opportunity to maybe
Yeah,
get.
I understand. Zeb is very threatening. You just don't want to shoot at him.
I mean, he would outsmart.
I mean, I suppose like if we're going thematics, you know, I would think that Zeb would be very protective of a child. You know, he could do a good job.
Oh,
just
I don't want to
barely-
watch this thing.
Just barely has range too.
That's gonna be the shields on blue. Okay.
Yeah, and you don't care. You're just like, whatever. I'm
Yeah,
a
that's
Y-wing.
Nora. Nora taking shields.
Do you have target lock? Nope.
I'm honestly mostly terrified with the idea of flying through space and encountering the giant face emperor. So I like that as one of the most horrific science fiction scenarios imaginable. Yes, and he just constantly is saying, "I would like to see the baby," like getting in your face. It's another 2. 1 goes through, so a damage card on to Nora. 1 away from half points.
So what is going to be interesting is that if the TIE bomber makes it through this round, he does have ion bombs and can just make those
And he could hook it.
Y-wings. Yeah, it can kind of hook it, but you know it all depends. Well, Evan Verlaine can get in front. Never mind. Never mind. I just think those 2 ships are kind of boned.
Kind of boned. Spend. Safe. Alright, no damage there.
Yeah.
So Reimer had taken the damage and an ion from that first ion torpedo shot from
Yeah.
Nora. Next shot. Doesn't have Reimer. Not Reimer. Yeah, Jonas.
Yeah, fake rhymer.
Fake Reimer, yeah. But the ion but that ion cannon turret is in if you want to get an extra die in there. Most you can do is the damage.
Man, I think you just go after Ved. Maybe you get lucky and get him ionized as well.
Was the shot into Jonas? Looks like it? No, it wasn't a bad. Okay, and 2. So just taking a no, safe.
Nothing. Taking that
Nothing.
nothing.
Taking nothing. Sorry, I thought that was spent the focus there, but there is no focus. All right, range 1 into Jonas here. Nick Jonas, Joe Jonas, all the Jonas brothers. Hit crit. Give me double evades again. Oh, no, I rolled over, but to another blank. Crit goes through on Jonas. Direct hit.
Correct.
That'll be
That's
half.
points. Because we are doing half points.
We are doing half points. It's kind of nice when points or half points are involved.
Dude, I forget about it when I play
Yeah,
Chance Engagement.
right. You're like, oh yeah, that's right. It just feels like a completely different game when I'm playing Chance because it's just the way scoring is. It doesn't exponentially grow in some
Yeah.
turns. Like it always feels close, no matter how much you're beating someone.
Zeb.
What is Zeb checking?
Here.
Checking the child. Do you want to use the force here? I feel like you shouldn't.
Yeah, you use that for defense.
Yeah. And Vader Vader finds a way to take damage. Imagine. All right, safe. All right, and that's gonna be it for this turn. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the Sea Otters remix. Oh, hold on. I muted it because I didn't want to blast it. Here we go. Let's try it one more time.
We're looking at sea otters. We're looking at sea otters. We're looking at sea otters. They're beautiful. They go down to the bottom, they get a stone and a seashell. And they come back up and they roll on the back. And then they smash the shell with the stone.
What am I watching right now?
Looking at sea otters.
The internet.
Looking at sea otters. Looking at sea otters. They're beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Mm.
Looking at sea otters. Looking at sea otters. Looking at sea otters. They're beautiful. Beautiful.
Amazing. So the original video, if you just look up, if you actually look up sea otters, you'll still find it. But Obi-Wan, yeah, you gotta just do Ewan McGregor sea otters.
This is Webflow Interactions.
Oh,
The only
kill the ad. Kill the ad.
application power of CSS
That was amazing and
JavaScript.
adorable.
Right?
What are we looking at here?
We're looking at sea otters. 6 of them here. And they were in front of us and they were just following
Isn't that
us
amazing?
slowly.
It's so wholesome. We're looking at sea otters.
They go down to the bottom, they get a stone, and they go down to the bottom, they get a seashell, and then like a clam or something like that, and they come back up and they roll on their backs, and then they smash the shell with the stone like that, and then eat the mussel or whatever is inside. Go down for another one with a stone. It's cool,
It's
isn't
such an old video, but it's amazing. I love Ewan McGregor. All right, that is all I have for you guys. That's the entertainment, the YouTube. Just pull it from YouTube Entertainment. Back to the game. I think we're not ready to go. I was hoping maybe that would bridge the gap, but unfortunately,
It doesn't look like we missed it.
doesn't look like we really missed anything. But we're looking at sea otters. We're looking at sea otters. They're beautiful. So if you remember, if you see a sea otter, just you'll think of Ewan McGregor now. I'm gonna reopen betting. It's looking good for Catherine, but you know Vader just wants to get up and personal with Zeb. However, he also wants to shoot an ion missile and get him ionized, and it will be hard to do that.
The problem with Vader is that if he could shoot the ion missile, he can't be at range 1 of it.
Forgot to start the timer. How much time do we have? Oh, they didn't start the timer either. Oh my god, they're killing me.
Because
How
they
much?
hit it.
Yeah, but they didn't start it on their side.
Yeah, I'm like I said, they
'Cause
didn't start. They hit it.
They hit it.
for
Well,
themselves.
I'm giving them 40 minutes. 45. Feels fair.
Sure.
Does that seem fair? Is 30 minutes past? It seems like maybe it hasn't been that long. 50? I'll give him 50. And that's the final offer. Just keep going up. There we go. Alright. The most fun part of X-Wing is in between rounds when it takes 10 to 15 minutes to plan. To really test the commentators.
Yeah.
Like,
So
really
I'll vamp.
test us, yeah.
I'll vamp in the meantime. So I got these Reese's Thins. They're Reese's peanut butter cups, but it's dark
Oh.
chocolate, and they're like thinner, obviously.
Yeah.
And I put them in the freezer, and they are fantastic.
Oh,
They're
okay.
a great snack. I recommend it. Also, if you haven't done Kit Kats in the freezer, do that. That is good.
I'll do my like advertisement voice. This episode of 312 Squadron is brought to you by Reese's Thins. They're tasty, dark chocolate. Matt Gary approves. Buy them now.
Frankles. Is there a timer for in between rounds?
Yeah, there should be. There really should be. I've contemplated. It's such a mean thing to do, but keeping track of time during in between rounds to be like, hey man, because I want to at some point if someone's taking like 10 minutes, be like, hey man, look on my phone, like timing it. It's been 10 minutes, but that's just such a mean. Like it's just so petty. Like I want to do that, but I kind of want to do that. I don't know. These are things I should talk to my therapist about. Only talk to therapists about X-Wing.
I can't speak for you guys, but I am planning my next maneuver during the middle of engagement. As I'm seeing
That's
damage
what
tick down,
that's what Colfax does.
All right,
and
so
it's like, what else do you do?
we're getting a bomb drop from Major Reimer Jonas, dropping an ion. Doing the nimble bomber ability.
Oh, very nimble.
Just gonna be like, hey guys, if you're over here, you're doing a 1 forward.
Yeah, if you're anywhere nearby, you're doing a 1 forward. Is he gonna do what? Is his what? Would he get hit by it? No,
He
once
might. It's going to be very close.
takes the evade. Okay.
I don't know if he's 1.5
So
base
if
lengths.
Can Vader do a 3 hard and have arc? Does he just...
I believe so. The question is whether the corner of his base will be on the cloud.
Oh yeah, that is a cloud, right? Yeah, it is a gas cloud.
Yes.
It's technically gas cloud 6 out of 12. For those of you at home that are keeping score, you can write down gas cloud 6 out of 12 on your score sheet.
Glass cloud?
Glass cloud. Is that what I said? Probably gas
I
cloud.
think-
Glass cloud. It is so fragile. Do not hit it. You roll for lots of damage. All those shards hitting you in the face. And that is going to be an ionized Y-wing. How the hell are you?
Like, you ionize me. No, I ionize you.
I ionize you forever.
Joe out Catherine the Catherine.
I think Reimer can just drop another one next turn, right? Just keep ionizing the Y-wing.
Yeah, and you can do the one bank now, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, not
That's
bad.
right. That's a thing.
I mean, he still has to survive 4 ion cannon shots, but
Survive. Yeah. That's true.
What are we doing? Ved is revealing a 2 straight, gonna do a 3 straight. Gonna be
Oh,
like,
look at that. Bed changing that dial. AMG is triggered right now. Like,
I am limiting your actions. Oh, and barrel rolling. Oh, gonna just be like,
hello, ion bomb. I am ionized. And he goes all the way forward now. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, you should go back because you're gonna get a counter net anyway. So,
Well, Joe's been drinking. Just keep saying that. Just Joe's been drinking. Nick, I don't appreciate you saying it like I'm an alcoholic.
I mean, it's gonna be bad time for Ved because it's just gonna be counter net. Like, sorry, dude.
Yeah, Joe is finding. I think that he has his own bingo card. How many times can I get my ships ionized?
Yeah. But you know what? They're not shooting at the crew carrier, so
I'm closing betting. It looks like all but one person think Catherine will win this.
I have an artistic question for the group. So if I wanted to paint a TIE fighter to look like an ISP jingoist, but instead of a jingoist, I want it to be a bingoist, like the game old people play.
yes.
What would you paint?
Oh,
on
we're
the TIE
familiar with
fighter
bingo here.
to be a bingoist? Like what is recognizable enough that you would say, oh, that's bingo?
It would have to be a bingo. I mean, I would go real elaborate.
Right, but that's hard. Like I feel like that would take skill to paint, and I don't have that much skill.
All right. Let's see.
You mean you could put a giant dot and have say bingo in it? Because yeah, I don't know if what could he do that's not complex. That would be obvious. I think that's it. It's the only thing. Really.
I don't know. The only thing I could think is putting numbers on the sides.
But then people would be like, oh, it's a Sudokuist.
I mean, you could do the free space.
Yeah, you could.
Just free space on both sides. I don't know.
Jingo. Ooh, that's a jingo.
You should do Django instead.
Jingoist.
ASP
Yeah.
Djangoists.
Yeah, I'm just a simple man trying to make all
Was that one?
Senile Tamura Morrison.
I was thinking more of like Django Unchained, so you can get
Oh,
the suit
sure.
and a cowboy hat. So there is potential that Vader could target lock. Well, he already has target lock. He could ionize it and shoot it at range 2 and arc while still being at range 1 base wise. So he could do it.
The bomb goes
You also
off.
could just blow a force to check the lock and see the distance and barrel roll back if you need to.
I think you're fine. Just wait until your Captain Faroff gets in range
So it looks
and
like
then ionize it.
both Dutch and Yvonne taking shield as well as the ion tokens for that ion bomb dropped by Jonas.
Ion bombs do not do shields; they just give ions.
Oh, there's no damage. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
It's just three.
I know this game like the back of my hand.
I mean, because
No one uses ion bombs. Nobody in the world, except for this game.
I think they do damage to our boats.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Ion missile shot from Vader. Oh, all right. Well, you're gonna need to
Depends
get
a
3 to
lot.
even
He
think you
might
could
be
get a damage.
One. Ooh. Will it happen?
No.
Spin and evade in the force.
Yeah, but taking the force away is gonna increase your chances. So, because you have to take a damage to recover it, so that's gonna have to be.
I don't think
Oh,
you spend
just
the force.
oh, geez, just
Yeah,
take the damage.
I was gonna say you're right. You just take the evade and take damage.
Oh
and
my
it's like-
god. So is there a way to can you game this so that you purposely take damage to die and then force your opponent to lose?
I mean,
That's
basically,
exactly what I was thinking.
you get down to 1 health and then you're just like, now you can never shoot me.
Here, I'm gonna ask them a question really quick. I'll be right back.
We'll lose my veto.
Hey guys, really quick. I just want to make sure that there isn't a way that you could game this so that you could purposely take damage to die so that your opponent loses.
It's whoever kills the baby loses. So if I kill my own baby, I lose.
Okay, that seems fair.
If you kill a baby, you lose.
I mean, it would be a combined effort because you would be getting shot at and choosing to kill yourself. So it's like you'd both lose. There we go.
That might be too soon.
Cool.
Fun out
So
of it.
Catherine affirmed whoever kills the baby loses, but I said, well, you'd both be contributing to that, so you would both lose. And they started laughing. So that is the official ruling. Is ha 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 ha.
I like the idea of getting your ship down to 1 hull, and it's like, okay, you can never ionize me now.
Yeah, right.
2 hits.
We got some
Sending
is this
the lock.
Christmas music?
Christmas music.
I mean, I was just shuffling stream beats, and I think there's a holiday one. It sounded like Christmassy.
Bend the focus. Just gonna make sure you're ionized.
Oh!
1 hit.
Very
1
much
ion.
ionized. Very much ionized. You were the chosen one, Jonas. Said you would bring the Jonas brothers back to glory, not destroy them.
Back in his front arc. Doesn't got
Why not? Why not? Check that front arc. Show me what you got.
Show me what you got.
Show me what you got. So, Andrew, are you painting right now?
I was painting earlier. A lot of times when I watch GSP, I just sit there and paint and only
Oh,
sort of
cool.
pay attention. But it's late.
Yeah.
Oh my god, your Discord is so funny, man. Matt,
My
Teddy
Discord?
Roosevelt said Clanka, and I'm like, thank you for not using the hard R. And he said, can't be robotist if you don't use the hard R tabs. Clanka. Always, if you're referring to droids with it's only Clanka. Can't use the hard R. Right, folks? It's robotist. Oh, hit crit.
It's 2 shields. Which, again, who
Okay.
cares?
Yeah, fine. Very exciting 2 shields going down there. On that
I'm
one.
still a while.
Like, let's go! Oh my god, 2 shields! Ah!
If you get ionized by your opponent and you put yourself on a rock and die, who wins?
I think everyone loses.
I think if you're flying and you hit a rock, that's your fault.
Yeah, even though your opponent took away your agency. I mean, you could bank. I guess it depends. If you hit it no matter what, but if you could avoid it, you bank, right?
There you go.
That's,
1 more damage into Mr. Rima / Jonas.
Yeah, people are like, "What is he talking?" Because they only see Jonas on the overlay, so he like keeps like Reimer. Like, what the hell are these guys? These guys don't know what's going on. Let's take 3 randos who've never seen the game of X-Wing before and have them commentate. I feel like you just get like, I don't know if you guys have seen Nathan For You, but there's one episode where he has like a 7-year-old do a job interview and he like feeds them like, like answers. You should have like a couple of like, just like, I mean, it's gonna sound weird, but if you just have, it would be really fun to have like a couple of kids just do a, commentate a game of X-Wing, just have no idea what's going on.
Oh no, you shoot at Reimer, don't shoot at Ved. Ved's gonna get Connor netted anyway.
Well,
But you know what? Ionize now.
unless you do that.
Or unless you do that, you spend the focus. See, I told you to shoot it.
Mr. Foslow. Foslow, Foz high. Laszlo, Foslow. All right.
I haven't.
I just don't like what's going on the top of the board,
Oh,
like at
that's
all.
why he still had another shot.
Yeah, bye. See you later.
Mr. Rima, Mr. Jonas.
So it's essentially a game of keep away from my child carrier, and Catherine's like, that's fine. I'll just absolutely obliterate everything else
Yeah.
until I get to you. So no second ion bomb from Jonas. Some Wilhelms in there.
So, chat, do you have any ideas for new game modes outside the 4 that we already have? And
Oh, this one, obviously.
Okay,
Well,
I
I
got an
mean-
idea, Matt. I got an idea.
okay, what's up? What's up?
So, and it would be, I mean, to make this competitive, it would have to be like flip flopped. So, in asymmetric game mode, in which one person has a epic ship that cannot shoot, that just like flies across the board for like 3 turns, and some sort of, I don't have any exact details, but epic ships are cool, and too many of us own them and never play them. But something where you score points by doing damage to the ship, and then even if it's like a half-hour time limit, like how many points you score in a half hour, then you flip-flop, your opponent gets the same ship, and you run the same thing the opposite way.
Right. I'm fine with it being a game mode, but I do see the problem of not many people own epic ships. Well, I can't say not
Boost the
many people-
sales, Matt. You gotta boost them sales.
Yeah. I mean, but if AMT wanted to add it as a game type, just not as a competitive one, because then you get around the problem, because then you don't have to worry about it. You're like, yeah, okay, cool.
I think even I mean, I know there's asymmetric setups in Legion. I think it would be interesting to do it. Obviously, it's more difficult to balance.
Yeah.
But it'd be fun to see something like 2 40-minute flip flops,
Yeah.
or even just because I feel like truly asymmetric is probably not going to play well with the community.
Yeah, it wouldn't, because of how competitive we are, and like you couldn't just do it because it's randomized each round. So it's like if you just happen to get, we'll say, screwed by being the defensive portion of the asymmetric, and it's like, well, I guess I'm going to lose this time because I'm not well suited to it or whatever. Yeah,
I would like something that had target priority involved, like where you had to like kind of like with this, where there is like that one ship that is like, I kind of like the idea of like in squadrons, there are different roles. Finding a way to kind of assign somebody like an assassin role or something would be interesting. I don't really know how you would balance it and what rules you would apply, but kind of
anything that opens you up to gaming the list building too hard would be very challenging.
I mean, I already feel like to an extent list building is like gamed, but it's not gamed in the way that we would think. I just feel like the way like we get very similar loadouts for like everyone has the same loadouts for the same pilots. So you just kind of, I guess you're getting more gaming the meta, but it still feels it feels a little bland to me. I mean, even with the scenarios, with the changes to the scenarios, they rightfully so made them less important than they were. But now we're just kind of seeing the same like flavors of a few different lists, and it's just still a little dull to me right now. But yeah, I mean, you're right. If there was some way that maybe it's randomly assigned, like who is the target priority, or I don't know how that works or how it would work.
I just think anything like that could lead to someone one harding in a corner, and that's your best strategy, and that's never going to be effective.
But if you still have
and
like
that
a
makes-
center point objective, like incentive, then you could.
But even if it's
penalized.
one of your big hitters gets randomly assigned, it may still be your best strategy to sit in the corner and like too hard in the corner. There may be a smarter way, like, get this one randomly assigned ship to the other side of the board. But anything that would encourage you to run and not to engage, I think would be difficult to balance.
How about you instead of, all right, so there's for a VIP you have 2 different condition cards, and you place them on 2 of your ships face down. One is the decoy, and one is the VIP. I guess I don't. So that narrows it down a little bit to who might be the carrier of the VIP, or might be the VIP carrier, but it doesn't make it the direct target. I don't know.
I think that is fascinating, but at the same time, that would end up being a competitive guessing game. Like,
yeah,
it's at some sometimes in both what the most optimal move is, you may try to do something different. I think you would lead to situations where it's like it just comes down to the 50-50 luck.
yeah.
So here's the way. I don't know
Even
if
though
you
it sounds
guys.
like it sounds super fun. It just sounds hard to make work.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys would agree, but I know that the intention of the scenarios kind of adds some flavor and depth between games. Like each game just feels different. But I just feel like in terms of balancing, they've done a good job with the recent update. But I just still don't really feel like it's very engaging and like very exciting. Like I guess I don't really get excited about playing scenarios. I just kind of like tolerate them and I'm fine with them. Like I don't hate them, but I don't like get excited that it's a part of the game. So, and I just feel like it's because they haven't really found a way to make the scenarios feel interesting enough. They're just kind of not
I think
interesting.
we're missing a card pack of cards with scenario actions and abilities that will make a whole host of pilots or chassis more playable and more interesting. That will come at some point, I assume.
Or winning meta is completely unexpected and it counters to that. I've been truly testing competitive level. And I just think with the combination of like the scenarios needing some sort of like sprucing, like, and the meta being better than it was before, but I just feel like, I guess I'm still not like, I love when I like in person, right, at your event, Matt. I had a ton of fun, and it was a big part of it was because you guys put on an event, people I knew, like that whole environment, being in a tournament, all that stuff, made it fun. But I still enjoy playing the game. I just don't get like as excited still right now, and I don't really know. That might just be a me problem. It's fine. But,
one thing I've noticed that 2.0 was so focused on like efficiency of the like. You want to achieve the game mode as efficiently as possible, which in 2.0 there's only one way to win, right? Like score on points, destroy your own opponent ships. And so the whole game was focused on this idea that you want to find pockets of efficiency and you want to find the strategy to make that efficiency effective. And in 2.5, there's a whole new layer of strategy, but there's not tools to deal with it. So like, I think of like the RZ2 A-Wings, which have amazing abilities, amazing dials.
yeah.
To the point where they're so good at combat that they kind of got to be a little expensive, but they're too expensive to be useful at the price or risk.
Yeah.
But if there is a upgrade card, let's say an RZ2, take a scenario action into a red focus, that makes them much more valuable. And so right now, a lot of the list building is still like hyper focused on efficient ways to kill people because there's no other ways to find efficiency in upgrades.
And I think that the RZ2s in some ways can kind of, or the RZs, like A-Wings, for example, kind of take a hit because they aren't really able to like, the scenario actions are like like you say, counter certain ship archetypes because of what they like to do and being nimble and fast and reposition. But they also like, A-Wings weren't ever really known for doing a ton of damage, just over time they could do some. And I also am discouraged from taking those ships because of that fact as well. There's a damage from Ved from that last shot there. So get damage card on Ved.
What I found is you have to have a good jousting list in this game now, and those ships aren't good at jousting so much anymore. I mean, they weren't before. They would duck, dip, dodge, and dive, and so that's not what they're good for. It's like every successful 2.5 list has been, hey, I can at least joust with some of my ships, or I could joust with my entire list, and then I might have one ace that's a little dodgy, but
It hurts being a 3-ship list guy because I always feel like I build a list that I like, and then I'm like, oh, but it's 3 ships, and I feel kind of discouraged from playing 3-ship lists.
Yeah.
I think that's to my earlier point. Like, a 3-ship list can't usually afford to take a snare action, and there's no other tools for them right now. And Matt, to your point, like a hard flanker right now, they've been very successful in 2.5, but that's a whole, it's a whole own thing. That's very different than an A-wing, which zips about as opposed to really dives in.
Yeah, they're not hard flankers like you're saying. It's like they're a light flanker. They're a mosquito bite which is what those A-wings used to do, is they kept mosquito biting you over and over and over and over and over again. But
do you have the time or the patience to be able to do that, right?
No, it doesn't favor them.
But even like a Fang fighter, which beforehand you could try to knife fight with, like if you take 2 damage, you've got to run because that's 7 points and that's the game. And in 2.0 it was a little different.
That's kind of what I was saying to you, Nick, in the last game. Was like, that's why Fen isn't worth taking.
I mean, and it just sucks for piece. I play those pilots and they're my favorite, so it does blow when I feel like I'm completely compromising. Again, there's nothing stopping me from playing him, right? But yeah, I mean, if he's gonna get shellacked, then I don't see the point.
But I mean, we just don't see. I mean, aside from Old Terok, I mean, we just don't see Fangs anymore, which is kind of sad. It's like they were, really strong ships for a good bit of second edition.
Yeah,
and even Fangs and even like some of the TIE interceptors or the Barons, like they've had some success, but only because they're either really efficient or because their abilities are being used as tools in other parts of the list.
Yeah, well, and the ability to like if you like, Fangs they can be arc dodgy, but they're not a true arc dodger because they only get one reposition, whereas, a Soontir or a, what's his name? Von Reg or Hollow, they can double reposition and avoid, it allows them to hard flank and stay out of arcs. So you have to kind of make a choice of whether you're going to address the hard flank or, address the jousting element.
And going back again, just the quantity of ships and how they fit into, your strategies with the way the game is. That's why I keep finding myself going back to Rebels, because I can build an adequate 4-ship list, but I just wish I didn't have to keep going back to Rebels, because as much as I love them and they're probably my favorite, I do like to try to play the other factions that I used to play a lot. I mean, I could play Empire. Empire's strong. First Order I don't play much, so I probably wouldn't lean into them, but I also feel like everyone's going to be playing Empire, and I'm a contrarian to an extent with certain things. So
I went back and listened to the original Fly Better AMG interview when they just released 2.5 to settle the internet argument, in which I was right, to be clear. But one of the interesting things they say is they talk about how they felt like that FFG had kind of finished it in the design space of 2.0. Like they made this, and they don't say this directly, but kind of like undertones half say it, that like FFG built this amazing space dogfighting game, but there wasn't much else to do. Like you could build new ships, new chassis, new abilities, but at the end of the day, the game was going to be the same, and giving them objectives opens up design space for new abilities and cards that you wouldn't have without objectives. And I think we're still waiting to see those. Like it seems like they need their starter packs out first. Like they want their trench run war pack out first, but I am betting that they have of cards and abilities related to scenarios.
The game does feel like in a more refined beta stage, like now. I mean, like it's much, but I still feel like I'm not really playing like a full game, I guess.
Yeah. I definitely feel more like I feel like there's end games now. Like before there was no end game where it just felt like the game just went done. Now there's like, oh man, I need to be like, I played my XTC match earlier today, and like it was like, if I do this, I can get 2 scenario points, and if they go that way, they're only going to get 1, and that will get me the win. It'll be 20-19, and those weren't choices that I had in the original 2.5. In the original 2.5, it just happened so quickly. I mean, just the simple change of making it round 2 is when scoring happens just changed things so
Yeah, for
dramatically
sure.
that it's wild.
It definitely helped. I think they walked themselves into a corner they're trying to walk themselves out of, and they're getting there.
Yeah, I think it just doesn't feel like that had been play tested, because it's like there were simple things where it's like, oh, well, you want to encourage engagement, and then on salvage you make it to where you can't turn around and get back into the fight, so your best option is to 5 straight and boost. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
There's just things that confused me that I thought it's like this should have been seen in playtesting. But
There's also, we got an ion torpedo shot here.
yeah,
Gonna try to seal the dub here. Spinning the lock. Okay, so that is gonna guarantee. Getting 2 dice, so a damage. Guarantees damage and 2 ion. Has elusive. Do we spend elusive here, Joe?
Was that from red? Because Feroff's ability should trigger and give two squiggles.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
so you just lose a shield.
Cool.
Okay.
I do say, like, I know that Catherine's been cheeky with Zeb, which is the right call in terms of the rules, but it's been a little underwhelming just kind of seeing the whole cat and mouse thing with Zeb and Vader opting not to spend the Force. Like, there should be some rules that, like, make you spend the Force if you...
He's got targeting synchronizer. He should fire an ion missile at Zeb.
Can you reach Zeb?
Yeah, with Ved.
Oh, well, Sorry, this is the next ion torpedo shot.
Yeah. But, again, he's been drinking. He's a day drinker, a night drinker, an evening drinker. Nick just says that Joe is just a lush.
Joe
He can't stop.
drinks responsibly, but he is drinking responsibly currently. That's gonna be
All right.
4. So Feroff, I think, guarantee going to be ionized.
Yeah, gonna be ionized.
Going to use elusive, but doesn't really matter, right?
It can. Yeah, and then use your Feroff ability.
To take 1 in an ion.
Yep. So still not ionized. Getting closer though.
Yes. Second ion? Oh, that's Force. Sorry. Okay, so here's it's not trying to be controversial, but my opinion is that where the game has gotten to this point with the depth of like what we have, there's so much in this game. I don't know if the end goal of what AMG wants is actually possible. Like I'm very much along for the ride. Like, you guys see me stream this all the time. I'm still playing the game regularly. It's not like I'm butthurt and quitting the game. But I do think that it might not be possible to get that kind of world that they envisioned for it. I know that FFG in the past has tried to get people to do scenarios and stuff. It didn't just, like in 1.0, and they had those in the expansions. People just weren't interested. I know that now, obviously, it's a standard play for the game, so it's a different case. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the wind has been taken out of X-Wing still a little bit. Just going on Twitch and stuff, and hopefully it comes back. But it's tough. It's just not the same.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
I'm hopeful. I'm definitely hopeful.
And I know some wind has been let out of the sails just because I know people that are like, I just learned these rules and now I'm learning new rules, and it's like, yeah, I get you, but the new 2.5.1 or whatever you want to call it is much better. But if they make changes again, we're gonna have another iteration, and it's gonna be it's one thing when it's just a few points or here's one errata, but these were decent changes. And will people get rule change fatigue?
Yeah.
When this again, I feel like it's if this is stuff that should have been hit during an alpha or a beta.
Yeah, I do. My personal stance now is if we get another significant overhaul of the rules, I'm going to be very angry. Like,
Okay.
I mean, like, I don't want to see like 4 or 5 more mechanics completely change. I just want us to lock in. Like, and that's why I think they've had 2 opportunities to make those mechanic rule changes. Like, let's hit them all at the same time once, maybe twice, and that's pushing it. And I think they know that their goal isn't to keep doing this. So I'm aware that they obviously don't want to keep doing that. But it is a lot because it really overwhelms everybody.
It's fatigue, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of in that realm. I understand, but like, would I like to see one of the objective things go to like take assault at the satellite array or whatever, and just make it fixed deployment to where it's like these are in set positions.
Yeah.
It's like I would be fine seeing that, and granted, that wouldn't be a huge change, but I don't know. It's.
I think another issue that we didn't even really mention is just like remembering everything.
No.
Where it's like you get 3 on this one, but you get 5 on this one, but you can't do this in this one, but you can do this in this one, and there's 4 of them, and it's just like, ooh.
Well, we were just talking about I don't remember half points on chance engagement half the time because I'm like, oh yeah, that we actually do that here. And that, like, in your tournament, Nick, when I was playing against Sam, we both of us completely forgot that half points was a thing. And then what was that? And I like the change to scramble. But on scramble, down to 3. But on scramble, I have to sit there and think each time. I'm like, which side do I place on first? Because it's different than the other ones, and I don't remember. So yeah, it does. Yeah, rule change fatigue.
So? If you look at it through the tunnel vision of is this new player friendly, I don't think so.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a new player.
There's a lot of games that are a lot more complicated than
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely correct. I do know that they were trying to make it. I mean, it was a goal. But I'm not even making the argument that the game has been simplified or dumbed down. It's certainly not. And nobody really wants it to be.
We've had a lot of new players at my store.
Yeah, how's that?
I will say they are able to win games on a not regular or consistent basis, but they win games even when they're brand new. And that did not happen with new players, or at least that was not my experience and a lot of other players. Like, because
2.0,
it was focused on get that initial engage right, or you're probably going to lose. It's a lot more forgiving and it's more complicated.
I guess,
but it is.
Yeah, I guess when I say friendly, there's 2 ways for me to look at that: is friendly is in winning games, or friendly is in understanding everything that's going on and everything that you can do and like all of the rules and stuff.
Yes, but at the same time, 2.0 was a lot more complicated than the rule set made it seem. Like, if you didn't understand how to engage like
what is like the wombos out there
or something, like a malware swarm, like that's something you have to deal with very particularly. And if you haven't seen it before, you're going to lose. And you're probably going to lose the first couple times you play against it because it's just its own little thing.
How do you feel about like just all the cards now that there's like more things to remember, right? That your opponent could do? Like, do you feel like that has any sort of effect though? Or because like we can both agree that 2.0 had a lot simpler lists as an average of like just less upgrades. You know, Poe had 2 or 3 upgrades and one of them was heroic, right? Like overdrive thrusters. Right now it's 7 or 8 maybe up to, and that's just one example, right? But that was the one thing that I did worry about, was even for my sake, like I just can't remember the 15 or 20 upgrade cards.
Yeah,
that
if
my
you
opponent
build this the right
has.
way, or by the right way, I mean a particular way, which that's what we're doing for new players, is just giving them lists and like letting them borrow stuff. They're not that complicated, but in a real scenario, I would agree with you. The mechanics of lists are. It's not easy to deal with sometimes.
Yeah. I would even say that for veteran players. Because I know I played my game Thursday, and I had so many cards on. I think it was on Mando. I was flying Mando, and I just couldn't remember. Like, I didn't remember half the triggers, and I'm typically pretty good about that kind of stuff. I like to think that I'm good at this game, but there is a lot of upgrade overload, which, you know, that can be dialed around without a rule change. You know, they can fix some things here and there. but so I mean that seems like a simpler fix.
Yeah.
I will say that teaching new folks bump rules
There it is.
is confusing.
Oh wait,
Not
no,
bump.
sorry, no, it's not ionized though.
All right,
It doesn't count. Damn.
No.
I was like forgot that he couldn't do
Yeah.
that. It wasn't ionized. I thought that was a one bang ion. I forgot it was
But
one ion.
If Nora does it too hard and target locks, and
Yeah, you're just saying there's a chance.
get the ionized
So
stuff, but-
just something that Tecumseh said to interject, and then real quick. I started in mid 2021. If I were starting now, I simply couldn't too much learning curve too deep. I do like the new game, but starting from scratch would Jesus.
Yeah, like teaching the bump rules, like, so I'm kind of the rules guru in St. Louis. People, whenever they're like, I don't know, Matt. So, but like, so doing the fully execute, and it's like, oh, well, I get a focus because I bumped into your guy. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, you technically would have bumped into your guy. So that means that, and they're like, well, what if, and it's like, yeah, I get you. But if it's the final position is who it is, it's a few more steps than just what 2.0 was.
Mhm.
So it is mildly more complicated, but I mean, sure, it's not super bad.
I've seen the same thing where the new players. That's one thing they really don't understand. I don't know why it is. They also struggle to understand when to take a red focus or not. And like once you've got beyond the basics rules, our new players seem to understand the difference between, oh, should I focus or lock here, or
Yeah.
like what's like the basic math we've taught them. But
Yeah.
a lot of times they're like, oh, do I take a red focus or not? And they just don't even know how to process that decision, like the consequences of it, because they're not
Yeah.
thinking next turn ahead. And so
Yeah.
that has been a pain point for us.
So I did something you guys. I mean, I was playing Boba Fen Genesis the other day, and I was in front. I was playing 3/6s, like Rebel 3/6s, like Fen, Luke, Wedge, and Bodica. Sure. And I got Boba in the face of all the sixes, and I just purposefully one forwarded to stop, essentially take a red focus, and it completely ruined everything my opponent was trying to do. And I was like, well, thanks, AMG. Like, really appreciate that. Thanks for the opportunity to do that. It's great. I like Boba doesn't need that stuff, man.
With Bosk, you can like run a hawk in front of Bosk and like intentionally fail a 3-bank and then just stay where you are, which is a great move.
Well, there you have to roll for damage, though, right?
No,
I mean,
no.
like-
So you get your hawk right in front of Bosk. You bring Bosk into the middle of the board. You look at where your opponent is and you dial the mover to hit them, and then send them in front of like.
Oh,
behind the
sure.
hawk.
Got it.
You're like, oh, I would have hit you,
Yeah.
so I don't care.
Yeah,
Interesting.
the bump mechanic in the next wing has not improved. As what I just really hate the RNG of the range 0 shots and how that could be what decides a game. I when AMG was arguing that it didn't make sense that you would be trying to dodge your opponent's ship, but instead you would be going extra focus, trying to danger close, take shots if you're the other person. I didn't resonate with me. Didn't really
Here's
make sense.
our proton torpedo.
Oh, is the
Spin the
or
focus.
the you mean the
That's
ion
gonna
torp?
do it.
Oh, that's gonna do it. Well, once we get the bump, yes. That fair off taking one more.
We get a bump? There has to be a bump?
Oh, you're right. You're right. Technically, is ionized now, and there is a ship at range 0. Yep, there it is. GG's. Hold on. I'll jump down to think. Then we can finish our conversation because I feel like we should
No,
just
tell Ved to take a shot. See if he can ionize Zeb.
not happening, man.
How dare you? How
It's
dare
not. It's just no. There's just no way. Be right back. Oh, well, he's gonna do it. I'll let him do it. I was gonna let them do what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would have been great to kind of concurrently with 2.0 run a beta and be like, this is what's going to happen, but we want to really, really extensively test this. It doesn't feel like it was extensively tested out of the gate.
It feels like they didn't have the time because the new update was done pretty damn quickly and
Yeah.
very much fixed everything. It seemed like they did a very good job fixing it, almost like they had thought about these things ahead of time and knew they could be a problem, but didn't have the amount of games play tested to really know if it was actually going to be a problem or not.
It just makes people's lives kind of miserable, though. In a
Yes.
way. But hold on,
It was
I'll
not
be right back. All right, you guys. GG's.
Hey,
I
Nick.
I would love to try this again with some things that would maybe make the game a little bit more interesting for a while. But it was enjoyable nonetheless, in the sense that the joust with the Y-wings was very hilarious and fun. But otherwise, I was like, okay.
It turns out I forgot that Catherine's a tactical genius.
Yeah, Catherine knows how to use the Y-wings with ion cannon turrets. Just a
Well,
little
no,
bit.
not even that. Not even that.
Referring to this.
Oh, Zeb, yeah, I know. I was just like taking the damage on purpose. I'm like, oh boy, oh no.
It's
And
like,
then-
I
100%.
can't take pot shots at that. It risks you dying too easy.
yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah. Vader's like, I want to be close in literally any other circumstance, but now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, but that was. I like the idea. I feel like we could definitely let's run with this and maybe make some tweaks and we could try it again. Because it's fun. I appreciated it. But thank you both. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Really do appreciate you both coming up with
You
the game mode and playing. Means a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
it
you.
is fun for some silly nonsense.
Yes. All right, y'all. I'll talk to you soon.
I'll take care.
Bye.
So
All right. All
just
right. I'm
really
back.
good thing to watch.
Anyways, let me pay out the bets. I think this is really important to have this conversation, especially because the three of us all intend for the game to live on and do really well. So when there's just this idea that like criticism is like toxic for the game and will ruin the game. I think it's the opposite. Actually, that attitude is what's going to kill the game. Is not putting pressure on the devs to make the proper changes when they need to be changed, or vice versa, giving them credit.
I think people are coming around not by any attitude change, just because they're just like, oh, I see a problem and I'm going to criticize it. And there's not as many people just being like, oh, you just hate the game and you don't like AMG. And I think that's because there's less of those just caustic voices, just, calling AMG names and throwing death threats and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So with the less toxic negative voices, there's less toxic positivity that are just saying everything's great. And it would, I mean, because I don't think that these things would have changed had there not been feedback from the community saying, hey, the fact that I can't re-engage after I pick up a salvage means I'm not shooting. It's like, I think you get enough of those people saying that.
I lost one of my games because I couldn't re-engage because I had to carry the salvage so that I wouldn't lose. It was really frustrating for sure. But yeah, they made that change. It was
and I think that was because people were criticizing it. And it's like,
but
criticism is something that you should look at. I mean, it's how a lot of the stuff in 2.5 happened, is because people were like, I don't like bidding. Cool. I don't like bump mechanics. Cool. So they were addressed, so, criticism, just let it happen. Just discourage the vitriolic caustic stuff.
And I agree. I think some things there's just I get worried about the idea that, like with bumping, is that it's one of those kind of punishments that we all went through when we first started playing, like learning how to avoid them or learning how to set one up or being okay with one. Or just taking the risk. There are some things are going to be punishing that you just kind of have to learn from or accept. And that was just one of those cases where I felt like that change was just because a few people had really frustrating experiences early on learning the game, or like newer players. And I always am hesitant to like change things for the sake of it, even if it's like not 100% proven if people really need it or want it. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm over it. Like I feel like half of my love for X-Wing is gone right now, but I'm not gonna make it like about me. I'm gonna just keep playing and hopefully it gets better and better. It's getting better. It's not. I don't feel the same way about the game as I did at LVO, at Crossroads. Like I had so much fun there.
Same.
And that was with Road, that was with new obstacle rules. It was with newer stuff, newer rules, no bidding. But yeah,
I'll agree to that, but I also don't feel the same way about it that I felt about it at Adepticon, because at Adepticon I was done with the game. I didn't want to play anymore. I played on your stream because it was your birthday and you asked. So it was like, I didn't like that version of the game, and I probably wouldn't have wouldn't continue playing if that's what it was. But now they've made enough changes to where it's like, oh, there's an end game. You know, it's
Yeah.
not just the strategy of just jump to the objectives as soon as possible. It's like it's different. It's different enough to where I'm still enjoying the game.
And
It's still different than 2.0, but I am at least enjoying this version.
And I do think that at Adepticon, like with the way the rules were at the time, people that weren't necessarily as good at the game or like weren't good at engaging or like, you know, dogfighting, at the time there were paths to victory like they could exploit and just like run around and grab things like, you know, 6-ship Republic or 7-ship Republic lists or A-Wings or something, right? Now I feel that you do have to know what you're doing to a certain extent to win games, and the end game is more interesting. There is more of a path to a comeback or an underdog victory, which as it's the way it should be. I shouldn't be able to pick up the game right now and beat you, Matt, like my first game. I just like, if you had a really, really rough game, but I should lose that game 10 times out of 10 because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm brand new to the game. I'm learning. So
I don't think that anybody at any point should be allowed to beat me in the game.
I shouldn't have set you up for that, but I did.